Good evening, everybody, and thank you for participating in APTA Flash Action Strategy. My name is Laura Keeval. I'm Senior Specialist of Grassroots and Political Affairs at APTA, and I've been working with students and connecting them with their members of Congress and raising the voice of the physical therapy profession with Congress. So APTA Flash Action Strategy is a student-led event that was created 11 years ago to virtually rally PT and PTA students across the country around an advocacy issue. Some Flash Action Strategy years feature a piece of legislation we're working on, but in presidential election years, we focus on raising funds and awareness for PTPAC. Social media is a super powerful advocacy tool and one that we encourage APTA members to use in their advocacy. It's a simple way to raise visibility and gain more supporters on an issue, and it's also an easy way to advocate not only now as a student, but throughout your career, and an effective tool to be an advocate for the profession. The last year we focused on PTPAC for Flash Action Strategy was 2020, so a bit of a unique year. That year, students raised $3,500. We gained 113 new student stars, and 75 PT and PTA programs participated. For 2024, our goal is to have 3% of participation from PT and PTA students, raise $10,000 for PTPAC, and gain 250 student stars. And we have more information on what the Student Star program is on our webpage, and we'll talk more about the Student Star program here in a little bit. On the Flash Action Strategy webpage, we have sample social media content and graphics that you can post to raise awareness about PTPAC and really tell the story about what PTPAC is and why it's important. And you can get creative too. You can post pictures from your program, talk about PTPAC, make a short video, post a reel. You can make a photo collage. Really, as long as you're raising awareness about PTPAC, that's really what we want to see and see the engagement with the students from the physical therapy profession. Students, you are the future of the physical therapy profession, and your advocacy really does matter now and in the future. And programs like Flash Action Strategy are an easy way to get involved, not only now as a student, but throughout your career, and really show you it doesn't really take a lot of time to be an effective advocate for physical therapy. You can check out other APTA student advocacy programs, including the Student Advocacy Challenge. It's a year-long competition between PT and PTA programs to participate in advocacy activities for points. Participation in Flash Action Strategy actually counts for points toward the Student Advocacy Challenge. We'll include links to this in a student-wide email we'll be sending out. Check out our webpage for more information and how you can submit your activities for credit. And we really appreciate your participation in making 2024 Flash Action Strategy a success. And we can't wait to see the really great things that we're going to be doing with this. So now I'd like to introduce Mike Matlack, our Director of Congressional Affairs, to talk more about PTPAC.
Thanks, Laura. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this kickoff event. It's my pleasure at this time to introduce Congressman Don Davis. He was born and raised in Snow Hill, North Carolina. He graduated in 1994 from the United States Air Force Academy and became a commissioned officer in the United States Air Force. Congressman Davis returned to Eastern North Carolina as an assistant professor of aerospace studies at East Carolina University at its ROTC detachment there. And he taught national security affairs, military history, and leadership courses. As an educator for over 20 years, Congressman Davis mentored thousands of students as they completed their studies. As a veteran, Congressman Davis continued his commitment to public service by becoming the youngest mayor of Snow Hill at age 29, where he served 7 years. In 2008, Congressman Davis was elected to the North Carolina State Senate, serving 6 terms. In 2022, Congressman Davis was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, representing 19 counties, comprising the 1st Congressional District of North Carolina in Eastern North Carolina. Congressman Davis holds a bachelor's degree in social sciences from the U.S. Air Force Academy, a master's degree in administration from Central Michigan University, and also a concentration in regional development and a doctorate degree in education from East Carolina University. Congressman Davis is on the House Agricultural Committee and also the House Armed Services Committee, which one of the subcommittees on handles TRICARE issues, which we care about a lot in the sense of our military and their dependents. And physical therapists are very involved, and physical therapist assistants are very involved in the sense of treating our military and their dependents. Also, one thing I got to mention, Congressman Davis is a great champion of physical therapy. He is our Democrat sponsor of our Reduce Act, HR 7279, which streamlines the current plan of care certification requirement under Medicare Part B to reduce administrative burden and prevent interruptions in care. So this really helps us to make sure care is not interrupted and that we get paid quickly and appropriately when we provide our services to Medicare beneficiaries. Also, the Congressman, if any of you have our advocacy app on your phone, you bring up the Congressman's name. He's a co-sponsor of all our pieces of legislation. He knows all about physical therapy and what it does for his constituents and how it helps, how it saves money if people get to us as quickly as possible. So we appreciate you being on, Congressman, and all you do for the profession.
Mike, it's truly a pleasure to be with you today, and Laura, and to all of the PT students, thank you so much for having me as part of the kickoff for the Flash Action Strategy. Mike, I think you left out the part that I rely myself on PT.
Many people do.
Let me share with all those listening in. I'm from North Carolina. I represent the 1st Congressional District, 19 counties currently in the U.S. House of Representatives. In this district, North Carolina went through another round of redistricting, and it's about to go to 22 counties, which will be the largest geographic congressional district in the state of North Carolina. I'm glad that we're able to join in because I want to share part of my connection and why we are here and part of my why. There's so many people in the eastern part of the state, and just to let you know, this is near the beach in North Carolina and heads up along the Virginia border, come back around Raleigh, back down Greenville, North Carolina, East Carolina University. So it's a large congressional district. And when I think about the state of North Carolina and many of our challenges, we are a great state. But this part of the state in particular, we tend to have enormous healthcare challenges, disparities. And I still remember coming to the 118th Congress. And when I showed up, each Congress is numbered. We're currently in the 118th Congress. It expands 2 years. So next January, we'll start the 119th Congress. But when I arrived, as a member of the 118th Congress, many of the press would come to me and ask, what's your top issue? What are you going to work on? And they do this often. What's your platform? Well, guess what? When we are dealing with so many healthcare disparities in the eastern part of the state, my top priorities and platform all had to be based on healthcare and how we deliver healthcare in our state, and also how healthcare is impacting us federally. You're out there, and I want to commend you as you're taking classes and you're excited about the career ahead of you. Been in a place in which you can make a real difference with your patients. That's huge. But we have to also be mindful of the policy. So why is all this important? It's just simple. We may have all kinds of issues that are important to us, and we do. There are issues more than PT that you're interested in. However, it's very difficult when we're not feeling good, when we're having a bad day, when something is just not working right. I'm forced to stay focused on the things that often matter to us. So health, I believe, is at the cornerstone of a lot of the conversations. And that's why, since I've been in Congress, we have filed over 100 healthcare-related bills. We've done more work in this space, and especially, as Mike shared, supporting the Reduce Act. I mean, that's huge. We have to streamline the process. We have to make sure whatever we're doing is patient-centered and patient-focused, giving you the real opportunity to go ahead and begin to treat patients, as we're waiting for the physicians to finish a plan of care. So to me, this is about using common sense, practical solutions to everyday challenges that you're facing, always being mindful and thinking, how can we better serve patients? How can we better serve the American people? So I'm really honored to not only, and it just so work to land and work out that this way that, we end up supporting all of the priority areas of the association. And, we're really super excited to be here to work for you. And I'm super excited that you would take the time out of your schedule to be here, because this is so important in this important work. And I'm honored to be able to join you in this kickoff event tonight. And thank you so much. And I look forward to any questions.
Yeah, Congressman Dave, one thing I forgot to share with everybody, as we hear a lot up on Capitol Hill, how divisive it is. I want everybody to know that Congressman Davis is in the top 5 of the most bipartisan members of Congress. And that's what it takes on healthcare issues, to have both sides come together, work with each other, even though you might be on a different party. So he knows how to get things done. One thing I want to ask you, Congressman, is why should physical therapy students be advocates for their profession at the federal level?
Absolutely. Let me share this story. So I'm a former mayor. I was the mayor of my hometown, Snow Hill. As a mayor, if someone called, they were concerned about the trash collection or whatever the issue may be, not the water not working, my job was to respond. We didn't ask if you're a Democrat or Republican. I mean, a mayor is truly concerned about delivering for the people, and they're right there on the ground. So I took that same spirit with me to Raleigh when I was elected to serve as a member of the state Senate. And I remember still to this day when we were going through our committee assignments, and I said, I'm really interested in healthcare. I put healthcare, education, agriculture, went to a list of committee assignments. And finally, our assignments, we were appointed committees. I still remember to this day going to the healthcare committee. Now, I'm taking with me the mindset that I'm a mayor. We're just accustomed to getting things done, doing the work, doing the heavy lifting. We're not dealing with Democrat, Republican. We're just dealing with issues. So I take that mindset into this committee, and I was like, okay, this is going to be the easiest committee here because everybody cares about saving lives and helping people. I would think we would all agree on that. And lo and behold, I was in for my biggest wide awakening that this became one of the most divided, chaotic committees, when we're dealing with healthcare policy. And I'm saying all this to say, you're in this program for a reason. You're in this program likely because you really have a deep passion, a love for helping people, helping them feel better, to get through their situations that they're experiencing in life. But at the end of the day, policy is going to impact how you do your work. And it's going to have a great deal of impact. And I say this, and I can't say it often to students I have encountered, is you have to not only be concerned about your patients and their care, but you also have to be now a part of an association, something bigger and larger than yourself. And you also have to engage as an advocate and really roll up your sleeves and push for good public policy. In some cases, members, whether they're members of the House or Senate, or even in an executive capacity, they may not fully understand the total impact of a policy, and it's up to you to be the chief advocate for your profession. So we're beyond the days now when we look at, again, how policies can really help or hinder how we are able to serve our patients. So that means to me then that you have to do what you're doing. Not, and matter of fact, everybody, if you know of a student um, that's in the program, in a PT program, that's not engaged in the association, and I promise you the associations not encourage me to say this, but they need to engage. They need to engage, hear me loud and clear, because I've seen politics, and I can say it this way, maybe at its best and at its worst. It's going to be up to you to be the chief advocate for your profession. So I really do appreciate, that question, and be that advocate, be that strong voice. And why is it so important is because everybody's going to be impacted one way or the other. There's an old adage, you either show up to the table or you on the menu. And if you're not in that room, a part of those conversations, you can easily be on the menu.
Thanks, Congressman. As this flash action strategy is focused on educating our students about political action committees, I was just wondering, why are political action committees important to legislators, especially those representing healthcare providers?
Political action committees are hugely important, the role that they play. We're dealing with, as a member of Congress, so many issues, hundreds upon hundreds of issues. And what is important, and I'm just speaking from a member's perspective, we're dealing with so many issues that you're going to have your staff's going to have access to even other resources. But to have a trusted voice of those who are engaged in these issues every single day, and I'm just saying, you're going to have natural expertise and knowledge that is going to come often from a political action committee. And the information is invaluable, getting to good information, because we have to quickly get information to make decisions. So when I think about the role of political action committees, obviously they're there to advocate, for policy in the end. They're there to educate the public as well on what the issues are, and also where lawmakers may fall or not on it. So there's multiple roles that a political action committee is going to play. But for me, and this is what I really want to come back to for the students, is to know that you have a trusted resource that's there, individuals who are committed to their profession, and they just want you to have the information. Sometimes you may not always agree, but they will tell you as it is and tell you the truth and give you the information. And sometimes that information can move a lot quicker, with the political action committee. One other thing I would add to this conversation as well, Mike, is sometimes I've been working on issues. And as I'm working on issues and a topic, any given topic, there's an art, so to speak, of trying to get legislation passed. As legislation must be passed in the House and the Senate alike, and then it will go to the president. That's now, signed, and it becomes signed into law in order to be enacted. But to get there requires broad coalition building. I have to, talk to colleagues to get buy-in on my idea. These, matters that are important to us, the Reduce Act. The Political Action Committee can play a really important role too in helping to build consensus from the perspective of, identifying often members who share, certain ideology or thoughts and tend to be maybe more friendly towards, certain issues. There's multiple reasons to be a part of a political action committee, to support a political action committee, even if you're making contributions, because political action committee itself can make contributions and help support candidates that are friendly, or help get rid of candidates and not individuals are not so friendly. So I mean, there's multiple roles, but do know that it's an important role that political action committees play in this entire process. And this, again, is an opportunity for you to be a part of an association, and then a political arm, campaign arm of that association typically is going to be your political action committee. And it's just so important to engage in this entire process. I can't emphasize that enough. I mean, you cannot just have in your mind, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to serve my patients. The thinking must be much broader, and this is about ultimate leadership within the profession.
Thanks so much, Congressman. Appreciate you being on tonight. Any final words for the students?
Hey, I would say continue to work hard. America needs you.
Thank you so much, Congressman. We appreciate you being on tonight.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Sarah Sexton. She is the PTPAC student liaison from 2024 through 2025, and she's going to share some thoughts as a student about PTPAC and some of the work that we are doing.
Thank you, Mike. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah, and as Mike mentioned, I am the 2024-2025 APTA student PTPAC liaison. I wanted to just start off by taking a moment to thank Congressman Don Davis for being here with us tonight. That was a lot of very meaningful and impactful information. I hope you all got a lot out of that. And if you all have any questions about anything he talked about, please feel free to follow up with us in the chat. And I also just want to take a moment to thank each of you as students for being here. As a student, I know how busy our schedules are and how much we have going on. So it's really important to all of us that you all set aside time to be here. And with that, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I did just want to kind of give you all a little bit of a background on me and my journey with advocacy, hopefully to inspire you all to also become involved. So I started at the state level. I'm a student in Tennessee, and we have a position in Tennessee on our APTA Tennessee chapter for advocacy at our state level. So I got involved in that my second year of PT school and fell in love with it. I had the opportunity to go to APTA Day on the Hill in Washington, D.C. and our National Leadership Congress and talk with some of our congressmen and women in my district, and realized how much we actually do have a voice and how much impact we can make for our profession. And so when I saw this position come across, I knew I had to apply for it because it meant that I was going to be able to continue working with people like Mike and Laura and all of you to continue to push our profession forward, which at the end of the day is why advocacy is so important. And I hope that that is the number one takeaway that you all get from this, is that without a voice, change doesn't happen. And so we might each feel like our voices are small, but together we're very loud. And so it is so important that each of you do as much as you can to try to push this profession forward. And that might be little things like posting on social media. You can participate in our Student National Advocacy Challenge, which we have more information about on the Flash Action Strategy webpage, or also becoming student star members with PTPAC. And that's kind of the second thing that I wanted to focus on and make a take-home point is the PTPAC is what makes all of our advocacy efforts possible. As Congressman Don Davis mentioned, it's kind of what allows us to get our message across and what we need across to the actual Congress members. And so as a student, you do have the opportunity to be a part of the PTPAC and be able to kind of make a contribution to pushing forward the legislation and the things that we need for our profession. So don't feel like, oh, just because I'm a student, there's not a whole lot I can do. There are so many things that you can do, and I would love to connect with any of you who are interested in getting more involved with advocacy. I'll put my email in the chat so that anyone can reach out to me if they'd like to talk more, but that's really all I had to say. Thank you again for being here. And like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.
Thanks, Sarah. Just want to share a couple of things because I don't want to steal the thunder for tomorrow, which many, there'll be point people at many school and at different classes, time identified on Wednesday and Thursdays. You can have a longer discussion about PTPAC and why it's important for the profession and how to get involved. But I will say, just like Congressman Davis talked about, it's so important to have a PAC because it really builds relationships with that member of Congress so you can share with them about the issues of concerns of the profession. And it gives us access to decision makers. One of the things the congressman talked about was there's so many interests, right? Trying to vie for their ear to talk about what impacts them. Well, the PAC guarantees that you will be able to see a member of Congress to talk about the issues of concern to the profession at fundraisers. And sometimes that might be the only time that you will be able to talk to that member of Congress face to face. So without it or not having a large PAC, you miss those opportunities. And if you're not there, there could be someone else there who may not be representing the profession to saying things about certain bills and legislation, which is some things we don't want them to say that is wrong or doesn't get the full scope of really what that bill does. So it's really important that we're there. We're the voice of the profession. Like I said, tomorrow or Thursday, you'll hear more about this. It's also on APTA's webpage, apta.org/FAS for our Flash Action Strategy homepage. Also, all of you received an email this morning that has direct links to the Flash Action Strategy page and also to make a donation to PAC. Because unfortunately, we can't take APTA dues for direct contribution to candidates run for Congress to have that direct connection with that member of Congress. We have to ask for voluntary contributions. Well, you'll learn a lot more about that tomorrow and get educated because it's so important. And as Congressman Davis said, we can't have blinders on and just think that we can just practice because everything that happens in the state legislature and in Congress impacts how you practice, how you get paid, how much administrative burden, how much time you're going to have with your patients. It's so important that we're all involved. And I look forward that you're going to be hearing more about the Flash Action Strategy, about the PAC the next couple of days, and the issues that we are impacting for the profession. Thanks again for everyone joining us tonight. Help make a difference for your profession and your future. Have a great night.